Hello everyone. So this is episode 2 of my vlog. Last episode we laid out the layout of the Unicasts blog. We picked some colors and such. For this episode I was originally planning on actually coding this thing, but the more I look at it, the more I feel like something is off, like it doesn't fit with the brand of Unicasts that I've made. So I want to revisit the design, and we will visit the coding side of things in a future episode, maybe next episode. So let's dive in and take another look. So if we go to Unicasts, I think it might be because of the way we have the cards. Each screencast has its own little illustration. Well, most do. This is the default illustration because I haven't had time to make an illustration for each one. But if we go back to this, you can see it's kind of just bland. Like the only thing going for it is that it's color. Or very colorful, which definitely fits with the brand. So what I'm thinking, well, first off, if I look at this, I think I need to be very specific about how the colors are laid out. For example, this lime green, this yellow, and this orange do not look good together. So I'm thinking we should mix some warm and cool colors together. Maybe, for example, let's switch these, just see how that looks. See, I think that looks better, actually. So I think I need to be very specific when we get into the code, and I think the way we're going to set it up is we'll have a select for when we create the blog post. We'll have a option to pick the color of that blog post, which will determine the color of the card here, the color on here, as well as this if we decide to go with this little about the author section. So like I mentioned, I'm not really digging this. For one, if someone who's never seen Unicasts lands on this page, they don't really know what Unicasts is all about. Yesterday I mentioned I want it to be like 100% focused on the content, but maybe that's a bit naive. Maybe it should be like 90% focused on the content and 10% explain what Unicasts is all about. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tweak this a bit. What I'm thinking is, let's hide the blog single for now. Let's just focus on this. I'm going to extend this artboard a bit. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. Here, I'm just going to drag and drop one of the illustrations I made for screencasts on here. See, I'm thinking maybe it'd be beneficial to do something like this. I'm not quite sure. Maybe have an illustration for each one. But that also requires me to create a new illustration for each blog post I make, which I have to take into consideration. That's quite a lot more work. That's at least a few hours more work for each blog post. So I'm not 100% sure. I do like it because it gives some, visually it's more pleasing to look at. It's not as boring as just the color blocks. Let's look back at Unicasts. So for each one we have a title, the description, Oh, you know what? We could do the reading time on here. Maybe instead of this, let's put this over here for now. Let me undo that. All right, let's put that to the side. Maybe I'm just gonna open up my ntypo.psd file, grab a little icon for the time, because I believe there's one in here. I'm not sure if this is what I'll use when we get into code or not, but let me put a color overlay on this thing. Color overlay, let's select that. Maybe we just want this dark color. Yeah, that looks good. And then let's copy the text. This should be quite a bit smaller. Maybe say 5-minute read or something like that. So if we do this, I think we would again want to vertically align everything. I do like having the read minute thing. It looks a bit strange. I feel like this should maybe be white. Nope, that definitely looks bad. Maybe we should do a light pinkish color. So not pure white, but not dark. And then let's grab that color and do the same for the overlay of the icon. Okay, I like that better. Maybe I don't like the positioning of it. What if I did something like this? Extend it, put a pipe, and then do July 20th, 2015. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Let's see. Maybe just directly under, whoops. Directly under this. See, this is looking strange. That's not too bad. Then we get some visual hierarchy. This is obviously the most important. This is the supplemental stuff. But maybe this should be the same size as the date. But we're making the distinction between them with color. I kind of like that, actually. So let's see if we can do this and still fit in an illustration. Maybe this just needs to be slightly smaller. I'm not liking that. Maybe it's the way it's laid out. Yeah, I don't like that either. Maybe just let's nix that idea altogether. kind of like this, actually. So I am kind of liking this. This is not quite the same font size. Let's make them the same. 2 pixels off. Not too bad. That's the cool thing after you've been designing for like I've been designing for nearly a decade. You can notice things that are just like a pixel or 2 off. Okay, so I think I like this layout. So let me see how this looks on here. We'll do a lighter green. Let me change the clock. And we will change this to this color. So we could make it aligned like that, but then there's this weird negative space for some of the posts. I'm thinking it should just be something like that, where it's like margin bottom of 2M or something. Okay, I like this. But that still doesn't help for the fact that if someone lands on this page and doesn't know Unicasts, let me go back to Unicasts. Maybe it's just a matter of putting in this footer. So what I could do is just take a screenshot of this. Go back to Photoshop and let me just drop that in. The only reason I'm taking Photoshop instead of actually mocking it up is because, well, we can change all this when we get into the code. Well, actually, there's no reason to mock it up again when it's already coded and all that. So one issue I see is, again, this is just because we took a screenshot, is this font size is much smaller than this stuff. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm just going to focus on that when we start coding this thing. But maybe let's just get rid of this thing. Yeah, let me do this. I'll just put a mask over it. There we go. And then let's bring up the artboard. Boom. All right, that's cool. So Unicasts, learn how to design, code, and launch amazing Ruby on Rails web apps, blah, blah, blah. And then we got all the links that we need. Beautiful. Okay, so I think that takes care of someone not knowing exactly what they're landing on. So it gives them an idea and links to our other content. And I do like having the read time on this, but the layout is still a little funky. Maybe let's try it above the title. I don't like that. This font size looks a bit smaller, 78.69. This is 85.16. Let me change that. 85.16. Maybe that's why it looked off. Yes, I like this. Okay, so I think as long as we're not grouping certain colors, like this one and this one should not go together. And that's just a matter of, since I'm the one creating and writing the blog post, that's just a matter of me picking the right colors, not putting two light colors together. All right, let's look at the blog single again. So I'm happy with this except for the color grouping, but we can take care of that when we actually code it. I'm not sure I like this stuff. I may just nix that altogether. So the only other thing would be to add the read time to the blog single, I believe. So I'm just going to copy this. Also, big shout out to Rodrigo. Thanks for the idea of adding the read time to the blog post. I think that's a brilliant idea, so I appreciate the comment. Let me just delete this other one. It looks a bit weird when everything's centered. Maybe this should be down low. Okay, this is annoying. These little icons are super hard to grab. Okay, maybe something. Let's see, as long as it's vertically aligned, that's not bad actually. So the first thing they see when they land on this page is it's 5-minute read. They can quickly determine if they have that time or if they want to save it for later. They see the title and the date it was published, and then the actual post and related posts. I kind of like that. I think the spacing is a little bit off. Spacing in between each thing. Maybe it should just be tighter. It just feels like they're floating right now. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe having them stacked is the way to go. Let me undo all this. There we go. Yeah, maybe that is the way to go. It's not my favorite. Something feels off about it, but I'm not quite sure what that is as of right now. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm not going to go through and add the read time and everything to each post, but I'm liking the additions we did. So when someone lands on the page, they not only see the content, like I said before, 90-10, like explain at least a little bit about what Unicasts is, and then maybe we add this footer to the blog single page as well. But the beautiful thing about this is we can jump into this or knock out most of these things when we jump into the code. So I think I'm going to save that for the next episode, and we will start coding this front end. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys next time.